All right, everybody, what's up? What's good? It is your boy BQ. Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, this may not be the upload for you. It may be, I don't know. This one's a little bit of a rant. Gonna get ready to review Sacrifice a little bit later, which I enjoyed quite a bit. But I gotta speak on something here, because if you watch Sacrifice, you know that there were production issues. And this is very, very consistent with the company. And perhaps I misspoke on my last upload and I said that, this happens every single month. And of course I had people say, well, it doesn't happen every month. Okay, but it's been happening for 6 years. So what is the excuse for that? And it really got me thinking that the company, this is a company we love. Okay, if I didn't love this company, if it wasn't my favorite company, I wouldn't be talking about it. I don't do it for the YouTube revenue, I assure you. But I wouldn't have created the channel. I wouldn't have sat here and reviewed all these shows and done all this content if I didn't love this company. I just want better for the company at the end of the day. That's all I freaking want. That's all I've ever wanted. That's why I started the channel to begin with. Because I saw a company with a lot of potential and I just wanted them to do better, to be better, to bring in real pros and, take this thing to the next level. That is all that I've ever wanted. And over the years, they have made a lot of great improvements. And over the years, they have made a lot of changes that I didn't agree with, or they've done nothing, or they haven't improved certain areas. So I have a love-hate relationship with this company. I'm going to Rebellion. I've got front row seats for Rebellion. I love this company. I plan on going to all the big pay-per-views this year. I don't know where they're at, but definitely next year I'm going to start going to the 4 pay-per-views. But that is my goal for this year. I would not spend the money. I wouldn't spend my resources, my time and effort if I didn't love this company. But this company is operating in the red. You could argue, depending on what your level of success is, that this isn't a successful company. You could, and again, it depends on what your definition of success is. Now, they are successful in giving jobs, in providing television content, social media content, whatever, that fans enjoy and love and watch week to week. And in that case, they're successful. But if you're talking about overall as a company, I say the same thing about AEW. AEW has been in the red the entire time. But when you're that kind of company, regardless, I'm not talking just wrestling, just whatever. If you guys got your, I don't know, own home-based businesses or whatever, your own companies, like if you're losing money, if you're not making money, or maybe you are making money month to month, but you're so far in debt that you're really not, can you consider yourself a success? The reason I'm even saying that is because when you fall into that kind of category, all you can do is go up. It means that there is an infinite amount of room for you to improve and to be better, especially when you have competitors who are successful, or competitors or who around you who are doing it better than you. And you take this company that we love. Again, this is a company we love, folks, that I love. I don't do this out of any kind of hatred towards them. But if you put them up against NXT, Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, Collision, what's the other fucking show? Rampage. You can even put it up against NWA Power, in all honesty. What wrestling show on TV looks the worst? Which is the one known for production issues? You could argue it looks better than NWA. I don't think it does, but you could argue it. I will give you guys that. But it's closer to MLW than it is any of these other companies. And I know they don't have the money for the production that WWE gives you. that AEW gives you. I know that. I'm not an idiot. But the fact is, it's the worst looking show out of them. I've been saying this for years. So that means you have all the room in the world to improve and to make it better. If your kids bring home D report cards every single quarter, every single semester, then that means there's plenty of room for them to improve, to get to a C, to get to a B, to get to an A, especially when all the classmates around them are getting the A's, the B's, the C's, and then you've got the D student. If you're a fan of a sports team and they've got a great regular season record every year, they're a good team. You know, they win more than they lose. They're a good team. But every single year in the first round of the playoffs, they get bounced out. Or they get swept. They just disappoint you every year, no matter how good they look. That means there is room for improvement. I have people that hit me on social media, that hit me on YouTube, thinking that I'm just making this shit up. And I know that I focus on very small details. I'm fully aware of that. It is a military mindset. So I don't even apologize for it. Attention to detail. The problem is there's not enough attention to detail in the fandom of TNA. So the argument is that I'm making this shit up. That I'm seeing things and hearing things that don't exist. Too many people are content with mediocrity with the company when they're watching this. There's too many people who think everything is good, everything is fine, and that all they need to do is just be on a better network and the people will come. That is not true. That is not the case. TW always would say on the Cool Factor, if Monday Night Raw were on Access TV, they would still do 2 million viewers. Now they have a completely different level of casual fandom and a different level of fandom in general, where people will seek out the company. They will seek out Monday Night Raw. They will find out what channel it's on. But I'm just oftentimes told that I am too harsh on the company. They've got all this room to improve, and all I want to see them do is reach that potential. Let's look real quick at Sacrifice versus No Surrender. Now, Sacrifice was one of their better looking shows. My only argument, and Mike Gilbert pointed out the same thing when he reviewed Sacrifice, is that they have 3 or 4 different cameras, and all of them have completely different settings. The brightness, the contrast, the color levels, the hues, everything. They're different settings on all 3 or 4 cameras. Now, I don't know, you got the hard cam. I don't know what they call, like, whatever secondary camera they use, the one that walks outside the ring. That is their best camera. That is their best. That one, as far as the settings and everything, looks the best. But let's compare here. I'm going to bring up an image here of. So for people think I'm making things up, I'm going to bring up an image here of No Surrender, and then I'm going to compare it to Sacrifice. As you can see, this doesn't look too bad. This really doesn't. I was pretty pleased with the overall way that Sacrifice looked. This is the match, Josh versus Hammerstone. I'm going to bring up Josh again. This is for the people who say I'm making it up, that I'm exaggerating, that I'm nitpicking, that the piss yellow filter does not exist, that it's something that only I see. And I'm not singling anybody out. There's multiple people who are telling me this, that only I see this. Let's see how it looks side by side. Look at the mat. The obvious grayish blue tint in the mat from Sacrifice compared to No Surrender, where it is completely washed out. So am I really making this shit up? Am I making it up? I'm going to take away the picture of that dorky dude so you don't have to stare at that the rest of the video. You can stare at his background, okay? Let's go ahead and go with that, with this wrestling mark background. The issue that I have is that the company is not appealing. Maybe not appealing. Even though we enjoy the product, they're not making television and content for people like me who want to see it better. Now, let me just go back on that. Do they want to be better? Yes. I'm sure there are people in the company that want it to be better. Scott D'Amore probably wanted it to be better. That's why he's gone. So I'm aiming this more at Anthem. I am not talking about Josh Alexander and Jordan Grace and the wrestlers that we watch and we love week to week. That is not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about a much higher level than that. The people in charge. They're not making television for guys like myself who are analytical and just want to see it better and who see those little details and who can point out, hey, this doesn't look good. This doesn't sound good. They're not making content for myself, for Mike Gilbert. They're not making it for Lewis Carlin, who's grieving his father right now. Lewis Carlin created all sorts of content on his channel about Impact over the years. He's not even watching the show right now. JD Oliva is not even watching the show right now. He used to do a Brace for Impact podcast with Mike Gilbert. They're not making television and content for guys like us. They're not making it for the fans like Minor Lopez and Pat Cromathel. I probably messed your name up a little bit, so I'm sorry. My guy Tommy Allenby. They're not making it for my man Nanzo. They're not making it for TW. They're making it for the fan right now who doesn't see an issue, who thinks that everything is great, or who thinks, okay, they can make a few tweaks here and there and they're going to be good. The ones who think that all they need to do is be on a bigger network and the people will come. They're not doing it for my guy Talkin' TNA on Twitter. I remember years ago, Scott D'Amore retweets, what the fuck's his name? Oh, Cody versus everything. He retweets him and says, oh, thank you. We do it for fans like you. For the marks, Scott? You're doing it for fans like that. And that's why the company is where it's at. And that's why, even though they're doing this amazing programming right now, I think everything they've done this year has been really good from top to bottom. There's been one or two episodes, but for the most part, it's really good. But the ratings come back, and it's 88,000, it's 90,000, it's barely cracking 1,000. Why? Because they're not making content for the people who want it to be better, the ones who were fans and doing podcasts for it, and then stopped watching because it wasn't, it wasn't the improvements that they wanted to see weren't happening. And again, this TNA rebrand, the show is way better than it was last year already, in my opinion. But for those of us who we wanted to see the production upgrades, and we wanted to see, a different, a fresh roster come in, because they decided, hey, we're going to go with our guys, which is fine too, But that doesn't mean we don't want to see them bring in, some more people to freshen things up. Now they've got, the Grizzly Young Vets are walking around. Trent Seven, Kushida is now on the show every week. Zaya Brookside, there's new people in the company now. We got Hammerstone, so that's what we want. We wanted shit like that. Hammerstone, someone who could come in and get into that main event picture. But the Knockouts division is struggling right now. It is struggling. But us who want the company to be better see that. Us who want them to get to the next level see that. But they're not worried about us right now. They're worried about the fans. They're focused on the fans who say, yo, this looks great. This is awesome. This just needs to be on a bigger television network, and it's going to do better numbers than AEW. That's who they're focused on right now. And that's why they're stuck where they're at, instead of the people who want it to be better. I'm not over-exaggerating and nitpicking when there's so much more room for improvement. I acknowledge when they are good. I acknowledge everything they do that's good. I don't sit here and they put on a match that's phenomenal and I say it's a shit match. I might say I don't care for the match. I've been saying several times that Grizzled Young Veterans don't do anything for me. I fast forward through their matches, or I don't pay that much attention. But I also acknowledge at the same time there's many of you who probably love the match because we all have different tastes. We all enjoy different flavors. But I'm never going to take something that TNA does that's really good and turn around and say it's bad. I just have different opinions and views. No one has to agree with them. But I always give my reasoning. So again, if my son brings home a D and I tell him I want to get to a C or a C plus, I am not nagging him. I am telling him, this isn't good, be better. And that's all I ever do, be better. That's all that I want for the damn company. But for those who have been really following me for a long time, I might say, hey, they need to do this and this on social media. They need to do this and this on YouTube. And what happens when those things do happen? You see numbers that far exceed anything else from their normal social media or their normal YouTube strategies. It has happened every time, because then you see me get on here or get on Twitter and I'm happy and I'm like, hey, yo, this is all I've been asking for. This is what I've wanted them to do. They've never done something that I've been pushing for them to do and have shit results because of it. The results are always what I say that they're going to be. I'm going to end the rant right there. I'm going to get to recording my sacrifice review here soon. I've probably got one more week on the cell phone here recording content. And then hopefully I'll be up and running again shortly after that. I'm your boy BQ. I'm out. Peace.